Hey, y'all. This week we've got Jack Schelble on the podcast. I met Jack at a Sorenex Winter Strong event. He is an impressive young man, a student at App State, a young man who's really kind of dedicated himself to the outdoors and took his first buck with a bow this season. Actually ended up taking 2 at the time of our recording, and then afterwards took a South Carolina buck. So while he had not taken a buck with a bow prior to this season, this was a breakout year for him. You're going to see some really impressive stuff from this young man. He's very enterprising, builds his own vehicles, saves up his own money to buy his own bows. Just the kind of kid, I don't want to say kid because he's a young man at this point, but just the kind of young man that as a parent, you're really proud to raise. So he's having a breakout season, really interesting guy. I think you'll enjoy the episode. If you're watching this over on YouTube, please give me a subscribe and a like. And if you comment, that's awesome. If you're watching this over on Spotify or Apple, it helps me a ton if you follow the show and leave a comment. I appreciate your time. Thank you again, as always, for being here. I know that it's a choice, and I appreciate it greatly. Enjoy the podcast with Jack. Have a great one, y'all. Jack, what's up, brother?
Doing good. Happy to be here.
Made the trip down from Charlotte. I appreciate you taking the drive, man.
Yeah, definitely.
It's going to be an exciting time. I know we've been talking about this for a while. So kind of before we even, kick off and get into a bunch of stuff that I'm interested in about you, why don't you, to break the ice, just kind of tell people who you are and give them a little bit of background on you so we can start from there.
I'm Jack Schelble. I go to App State. I'm a sophomore, 19 years old.
What's App? The Mountaineers?
Yeah, the Mountaineers.
Go Mountaineers, baby.
Yeah. I've been hunting since I was really a kid. I killed my first deer when I was 7, or my 8th birthday. Killed my first deer, and I've been loving hunting ever since.
That makes me so jealous. Like, as a guy who literally I small game hunted when I was a kid with my uncle, but I was a football guy my whole life.
Yeah.
But my brother started bow hunting when he was really young, and he's hunted his whole life. And I just kind of discovered it late in life. So guys like you, their dad taught them and stuff. Yeah. I think that's such a cool thing.
Yeah. It's a blessing being able to get into it early.
Yeah.
Because that's now really all I do. It's pretty much where all my money goes, where all I think about. I guess better than doing drugs or something.
Oh, it's a ton better than doing drugs. So that's all you think about is being outside?
Yeah. I'm constantly watching my trail cams or planning out different things or looking on different hunting apps, figuring out what to do or trying to find new places to hunt.
What's your app of choice? Are you like an Onyx guy or a Spartan Forge guy, or what do you like?
I'm on Hunt Stand right now.
Is that do you use their maps too?
Yeah. I just use them for pins. I just started with it a while ago and I kind of just stuck with it.
Yeah.
I don't have like a membership or anything.
You're not sponsored.
No, definitely not.
If you work for Hunt Stand, you're listening to this, you might want to give this guy a call. How old are you?
19.
Yeah, he'll be making waves pretty soon. So you might want to lock him up soon while you can afford him. Be on the big show, right? Doing that kind of stuff. So you're up at App. You're a sophomore?
Yep, sophomore.
And what are you majoring in?
I'm in general management right now.
What does that mean? What does that mean to the layperson, Jack? General management.
Yeah, it's pretty general. They don't have entrepreneurship at App, so I kind of general management is the closest. So I'm kind of taking that and taking more courses that I think I could probably use to run a business. But every time I tell someone general management, they're like, "Well, that's pretty general."
Hence the term, general management. So what do you want to like? Do you want to try to do something in the outdoor industry, or what do you want to do? Or is it outdoor? Or do you want to, like, some people want to keep their passion separate from their money and all. Like, what do you want to do?
My neighbor builds pools, and I've done some like working out with him or the past couple of summers helping out with some jobs.
There's
and stuff.
Some good dough in that, man.
Yeah. And I've always liked manual labor.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of want to start something in like hardscapes or pools or patios or really, I'm not sure yet. Like it kind of might spiral into something else. I'm going to try and maybe get with some other people throughout the summers and learn the other different options of.
You should remind me when we're off air, because literally my neighbor 4 doors down has a huge landscaping company. Yeah, that's what he does.
Yeah.
So if you're here all the time, I could literally tie you into that guy. He's a good dude.
Yeah.
All right. So you want to do something. Honestly, the reality of it is, with all the AI and stuff coming into play, people who have businesses that are focused around things that technology can't do are the ones who are going to be tonning it in the next 25 years.
Yeah.
It's the people who are doing desk jobs that computers and AI are going to take over are the ones who are going to be struggling. The ones who all thought they went to college so they could make a bunch of money, their jobs are going to get taken over.
Yeah. I've always been into working for myself or doing something or whatever. So I think I'll be able to figure something out.
Yeah. Well, I've been told you're a serial entrepreneur, right? So you're friends with Bert Soren and those guys, right? Over at Sorenex. Yeah, that's kind of your part of your crowd.
I've been pretty blessed to grow up around Sorens and Sorenex, and my dad grew up with him. So I've kind of been interjected into it, I guess. And knowing him is pretty amazing.
It's a good injection into the outdoor space.
Yeah. He's been very helpful in teaching me some things and being able to ask him questions and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I learned a lot from Bert. Like when I first got into bow hunting a few years ago, Bert and Joe Miles were the two guys that I kind of got connected to from people I knew. And those are the guys that I learned the most from in the first 2 years.
Yeah.
So great dude to know. So Bert told me to make sure I ask you how you paid for your really nice bow.
Well, yeah. So I started out in archery in 2019, I think. And I had some money, but I asked for Christmas for some money to get a bow. And I went to Cabela's and went to their archery shop and got me a Diamond Infinite Edge. I think it was like a $399 package, the sight and everything.
Okay.
And I thought I was on top of the world, and I went out and I got me a little target, and then I got some hay bales to put behind it so I didn't miss. It started out at 10 yards with.
So let's give a little context to everybody to where you live.
Yeah. So I live in downtown Charlotte.
Yeah. Now let me tell you, it's called Myers Park, right?
Yeah.
So
Dilworth, Myers Park.
Yeah. Area. So if you're not from Charlotte, this is one of the wealthiest parts of Charlotte. It's if you're in the middle of a city, it doesn't feel like you're in the middle of a city, right? It's literally in the middle of Charlotte. But when you drive into this neighborhood, you feel like you're kind of almost in the country because there are these big 1 and 2 acre lots. There's big, huge, oak trees everywhere, gorgeous homes. These people are mostly white collar, kind of pretty boy folk, right?
Yeah, mostly.
Okay. And so Jack's in his backyard with his bow and arrow. How old are you?
13 at that point. And
how are your neighbors responding to this?
The neighbors didn't really like it. When I first got into it, I was shooting at 10 yards, 20 yards, just learning and realizing that it was really hard to hit anything.
Did you have any errant arrows at that point? Anything get away from you?
There was a couple that got away from me, but I just kind of quietly let those ones go.
And you have them outside of the yard? Did you lose any outside your yard? Or did they all hit the back?
It was more just low or in the hay bales or they dig in the leaves.
So nothing went rogue on you?
No, nothing crazy. And I just started just shooting and stuff. And probably 6 months in, I was like, I want to shoot a squirrel with this thing. I just had field tips and regular old arrows. And one morning I was hunting out of my window in my room.
So you're in the second floor?
Yeah, I was on the second floor facing the street.
Practicing your elevated shot.
Yeah, practicing elevated shots. That's what I was doing. And there was a squirrel out there about 30 yards, 25 yards in the yard, just minding his own business. And I looked out the window, made sure no one was walking their dog or anything coming. No cars coming. Drew back and smoked that squirrel right behind the shoulder, right where you want it. And it went right to my neighbor's yard, which do not like me or hunting or really anything I do. Usually I'm a little loud or working on boats or something, and they've never really liked me. And she was out on her front porch.
And she's on her front porch, and the squirrel runs into her yard with an arrow through it.
Yep, and climbs her tree. And she immediately called the cops and everyone, and the cops came and animal control
came for the squirrel.
Animal control came, and they were like, well, nothing really we can do here. They kind of just don't do it again. And then the cops were like, yeah, you can't do this or whatever. And then the neighbors were trying to get them to check my archery range or whatever and get me in trouble for that. Cause I don't think you're technically supposed to shoot inside the city limits. Yeah. But they looked and they were like, he's got a good backstop, so we're not really going to do anything about it. And then before the cop left, he was like, that was a pretty good shot. He pulled me aside and he was like, that was a pretty good shot. And I was like, thanks.
So you're getting some respect from the police.
Yeah. So then
30-yard shot on a squirrel when you're just getting like, that's a good shot, dude.
Yeah, I surprised myself. So then after that, I kind of slowed down on the squirrel hunting in the yard and just moved back to the targets. But it was probably that first year of just learning. And I think at one point Bert told me I got to be able to hit like a pie plate at 40 yards consistently before I'm able to probably before I should be in the woods.
Archery hunting deer.
So like the first year, I shot that thing constantly. Like I was every second I had, I was in the backyard shooting. It was getting better, but that bow, I didn't at the time. I thought it was a good bow, or whatever. But when I first ended up looking to get a better bow after like a year, I cut grass for that whole year. When I wasn't shooting my bow, I was cutting grass or doing some sort of job to make a little money to be able to buy a bow.
So while you're doing this, do you already have your eye like this is the bow I want? Like,
no, I didn't know.
You weren't sure yet. You just knew you wanted to upgrade.
I just knew I wanted to upgrade, and I was doing leaves and cutting grass. And there was a couple times where someone had some raccoons or possum in their yard they wanted gone. I could bring my trap over there and take it away for them for $20 or whatever, and bring them across the highway, and then they couldn't get back if they went across the highway. So I just let them go on the other side of the highway, other side of 77.
Yeah.
And then, so I made enough money to start looking. And I went to Barefoot Archery and started looking at some of the bows they had there. And Bert, at that point, I think he had the Evo NTN Dudley bow. And they actually had one of those on the shelf. And I was like, oh, that's pretty cool looking.
Oh, yeah. That's when Dudley was with PSE, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I shot like the Hoyt, the Matthews, and the PSE. And at that point, I didn't really know what a good bow felt like. So the first time I drew back like a name brand bow, I mean, Diamond's a name brand, but like one of the
flagship bows. Yeah.
I was like, what the heck? And I pulled it back, and there's actually a back wall. It's not just kind of like spongy at the back. It's like
it dropped in. What was the first bow you pulled back that was a good bow? Was it PSE?
I think it was a Matthews.
A Matthews?
I think it was when they had the VXR, I think, was back then.
Okay.
Probably it was 2020, I think.
Gotcha.
I rode my bow to the bow shop because I live about a mile and a half from the bow shop. So I used to ride my bike there. And I never figured out a way to bring my bow to the bow shop in a backpack. I never figured out a way to do that. But I used to go there if I needed arrows, or I lost a lot of arrows in the beginning. I did weekly arrow runs.
Dude, I feel that. I totally, as somebody who's just been started doing this in the last like 3 or 4, I totally feel that.
Yeah.
What arrows were you shooting in the beginning? Were you shooting good ones, or did you know enough to buy?
I just had the cheapest ones at Barefoot. So I think they were Easton 6.5s or something. I don't know. They were just regular old 3 fletch.
Yeah. And in the beginning too, you don't really know like to look for a certain spine, or an arrow weight. You're just like, you go to the bow shop and they go, buy these arrows. You're like, okay.
Yeah, I was just shooting whatever.
You're just shooting whatever they give you.
I think at one point I was shooting just random arrows because I went to visit my grandpa in Virginia, and we went to some public archery range, and I spent most of the time looking for arrows, just like people look for golf balls. And I was just shooting whatever arrows I found there. Because I wasn't shooting very far. I was just learning. Yeah.
Well, in the beginning, you don't even know that you're supposed to get the same arrow every time and like shoot a certain weight and kind of get used to like, you're just like, oh, it's an arrow. Okay.
Yeah. So I used to shoot that bow just constantly. I'd ride my bike to the archery shop and get more arrows, and come back with the arrows sticking out of my backpack riding down the road. And so they eventually, when I was starting to get my bow, I had my money saved up from cutting grass and doing odd jobs and really anything I could do. There was a lot of random stuff I did to make a couple dollars.
Anything super weird?
Probably the weirdest was just catching raccoons and bringing them across the highway, letting them go. I can't think of any other random. There's probably something else I did that was pretty random.
How old were you at that point?
I think 14, 15.
So did your dad teach you to trap, or how did you learn, or did you just figure that out on your own?
Well, as a side note, but back when I was a really young kid, my dad, I was always up early and always wanting something to do.
Yeah.
So my dad, when I was younger, he got me set up with a laundry hamper. He put it in the front yard. He got a laundry hamper, turned it upside down, and tied bricks to it, and then put a stick to hold the laundry hamper up, and then put some birdseed under it, and tied a rope to the stick, and then put me in the front window. I was probably, I don't know, like 8, 7, 6. And he was like, just sit here, and when a squirrel goes under there, pull that rope, and the launcher ramp will drop on it. Not expecting me to ever catch anything, just something to waste my time. Because I didn't really have technology when I was a kid, so I sat there for like probably 3 or 4 hours one morning, and I caught a squirrel with this trap. So I always kind of liked trapping, and then for one of my birthdays, he got me a Have a Heart trap.
Okay.
So I had that, and then at some point, someone gave me like a bigger one for raccoons and stuff.
Yeah.
So I just like looking stuff up and learning. So some neighbors had some issues, and I was like, I can help with that.
And it'll be a lot less expensive than if you call the pest control guy. He'll charge you like $300 just to show up.
Yeah, so I did that a couple times. That was probably one of my funner jobs. I like cutting grass. That was fun. The lawnmower I found it on the side of the road, and then I learned how to fix it. So now I just fix lawnmowers constantly because I know how to. So I can, if I see it on the side of the road, no matter where I am, I'll just pick it up, put it back in my truck. And I've kind of gotten all the parts bulk. So if I get one, I can just bring it in my garage and then fix it pretty quickly in like 10, 15 minutes. I can sell them for between 50 and $80 usually, sometimes up to 100 for like just a regular push mower.
Yeah. I mean, my neighbor guy, which I'll show you his house when we go out, but he's got this huge house on the lake. He owns Irmo Outdoors. Like that's his business. They fix lawnmowers, they fix all these landscapers and stuff. They bring their stuff to him, and that's his whole business. Is they fix like lawn equipment and stuff like that. And he does great. Yeah, like it's a great business.
And if I see blowers or anything, I'll just pick them up. And sometimes I don't have time to fix them.
So you've got a real good like affinity for engines. You're good with engines.
Yeah,
and stuff.
I've learned. That was pretty much all self-taught from YouTube, which nowadays you can really look up anything. And I just whenever I have free time, either watching hunting videos or how to fix stuff.
Yeah.
Which stuff maybe we'll never even fix, but good to know about it, I guess.
You're like you said, you're probably going to end up owning some kind of a business that's focused around labor of some sort, and knowing how to do all that stuff is going to that'll get you the ability to start that business a lot less expensively because you won't have to pay people to work on your equipment.
Yeah. It'll always serve me well knowing how to work on cars and stuff. Yeah, I'm always working on my truck or something. My mom doesn't really like it though, because sometimes I'll get over my skis on picking up stuff on the side of the road and put it behind the house. It's like right now I got a small junkyard of lawnmowers and stuff, and then
I'm sure that the people of Myers Park love your junkyard.
Yeah, there's been times where I've had 2 or 3 boats in the yard, 2 or 3 old bass boats that I'm working on. My mom does not like that.
It's kind of like, have you ever seen that show, The Beverly Hillbillies?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, so the show came on in before I was born, but I've seen reruns on it and stuff. So if you're older and you're listening to this, you know what the show is. If you're younger, you probably don't. It's the whole show. It started when TV was black and white, but the whole concept was there was this family full of hillbillies from, I don't know, West Virginia, someplace. They didn't say where, but they were like real hillbillies. And they struck gold. They struck oil in their backyard. And so they got rich, and they decided they were going to move to Beverly Hills because that's where the rich people live. Yeah. That's what they were told. And so they bought this huge house in Beverly Hills, but they're still hillbillies. Like nothing changes to the way they live. Yeah. So they live like hillbillies around all these rich people in Beverly Hills, and they do hillbilly stuff. Like that's the whole show. It's hilarious. Like if you ever
that sounds about like me in Charlotte. All my
that's what I'm saying. It's like Beverly Hillbillies. Like you got a junkyard out back.
I've always got something new going on, or some new thing that I've got.
Neighbors are probably like, "What's Jack up to now?"
Well, usually they can hear me. For a while, last summer, I got into flipping boats and stuff the past couple of years. Yeah. Where I'll find in people's yards and go knock on their door and shoot them an offer. And if they don't accept it, then I'll move on and go to the next house. Or if they do, then I'll just give them some money and tow it home.
I got a boat I want you to sell.
I can do that. I do a lot of boat selling and stuff.
All right. We're going to do some business after this podcast, Jack.
But I had a couple bass boats with like early 2000s Mercury 2-strokes. Like one had a 150 and one had a 115. And they were really loud out of the water. On earmuffs, those things scream.
And you're ripping on those engines in the backyard?
Yeah. Well, in the backyard, I only had a certain amount of time during the day I could start them to like figure out what I was doing. Because those motors have 4 carburetors. So you have to like link them and sync them together. That was a pain, but I figured it out eventually. But I used to fire it up to like see if it was going to run right. But apparently the way I had it backed up to the garage, and apparently it like
echoes through the
it like echoed.
the garage is like a microphone.
Yeah, it like echoed off the garage right into my neighbor's office.
Is this the same neighbor that ran with a squirrel or a different one?
This is a better neighbor. They're fine, but he was like,
it's a little loud.
Yeah,
Jack.
It's a little loud with this race engine you got running over here. I can't bring him to the house anymore. I got to do that somewhere else. Usually I'll come here and work on him at the lake house or
This is the new shop. Columbia doesn't have quite the same level of uppityness that Charlotte does. I mean, we had a business up in Ballantyne for like 15 years, and Charlotte's a different crowd.
Yeah,
the Columbia crowd, even if you have people in Columbia that have money, they tend to be like, I don't know what you want to call it, new money or whatever. They're they're not uppity as much as like a lot of the Myers Park people are.
So I guess back to getting the first bow.
That's right. We were talking about your first bow.
I got off on a tangent there. So I pulled back some Matthews, some Hoyts, and I guess back then I didn't really know what a good bow felt like. So they all kind of felt the same to me generally. And they were running a sale on the knock-on bow. I think it was like $100 off or something. And I pulled it back, and it felt really nice.
And it probably looked pretty tight. Too.
Yeah, it looked.
This looks pretty sweet.
How it looked with like the green strings and the camo.
I mean, let's all be honest. We like the way our gear looks, right? I mean, we like our toys.
Yeah. So I liked it and shot good. So when I first bought it in cash with 20s, I think, and some 1s and some 5s probably. And I got it, and I got like a.
So your parents, even though you live in Myers Park, your parents are like, you got to work for your stuff.
Everything I have, I pretty much bought.
That's awesome.
You've
learned how to work.
Everything I've had is all me. My parents, they give me clothes and stuff, and
make sure you got food.
Yeah, make sure I got food to eat.
But you got to buy your toys.
But everything else I have, I pretty much bought myself.
That'll serve you well too, right there. Yeah,
yeah. I'm pretty appreciative of that. That even at times where I was like, "Can I just get this? Can I just get that?" They're like, "Yeah, work for it."
Yeah.
And
well, how do I make money?
Yeah,
figure it out.
Yeah, figure it out. That's how I was.
And they basically taught you to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Like that mindset that you've got was like taught by your parents.
Yeah. And about the same time. So I got that bow, and I used the quiver. I still use the quiver off of my diamond bow. I like fitted it with like some screws from Lowe's to fit on the bow.
You jimmied it up.
Yeah, I jimmied it up. It's still jimmied to this day. So I still have the quiver from my diamond, and I had the stabilizer, which was like 3 inches, which didn't even probably do anything. But
it's like a nub.
Yeah, I put the stabilizer from the diamond on this bow, and I got just a regular HHA sight that was like a 1-pin slider. And so that was my phase 1. I had that, and I did buy a good rest, a good drop away when I bought the bow. So that was phase 1 for a while. And I saved up, and I really wanted the Spot Hog. Can't remember. It's like the 2-pin with the slider, and you can have extended range. So I bought that after probably a year.
Is that the one before the last one? Not the Booney is the one that just came out, but it was the one before that probably.
Yeah, I think it was the Fast Eddie XL or something. Yeah, I had that one. Still have that. I love it. And it works out good. And I started out with the cheap arrows still with the arrows I was shooting with the diamond. And then I got pretty good with that one where I was able to shoot out to 70 yards, 60 yards in my yard, getting good. I shot constantly for years.
This cracks me up that you're shooting out to like 70 yards in the middle of Myers Park.
I have to like lean my back into a bush, and then my dad doesn't let me trim because my dad's big into like green thumb guy.
He's a landscaping guy.
It's kind of where I've gotten it from. He's always out in the yard working on something, but I can't cut any of his bushes. So I'll like,
you're like, Dad, just let me cut a little divot in right here so I can get to my 70.
So to get to 70, I have like my back into a hydrangea, and then there's a Japanese maple right in front that is really in the way.
You got to shoot through it.
So I kind of just move the branches a little bit to be able to squeeze an arrow through there and like make sure it doesn't hit it. But
Dad would notice if you trimmed yourself a hole.
Yeah, it's usually I'll just like pull the branches back and like hold them down a little bit. And so that worked out. That was my first.
Get some paracord and just kind of tie it off.
Yeah, like archery has been really a big thing for me, and I've bow hunted since 2021. I don't think I ever hunted with a diamond because I wasn't good enough at that point. But once I got the other one, I was pretty consistent and good. And bow hunting South Carolina is tough. It's those deer can see everything. And I was kind of an inexperienced hunter back then, where I was kind of hunting the same spot.
So talk a little bit about, because a lot of people listen to this, like they're kind of all over the country, but a lot of them are Midwestern people. And explain to people why bow hunting in South Carolina is so different.
South Carolina is a whole different ball game when it comes to hunting. The deer, like a big buck is like 200 pounds. A doe is like 115, 120. So the deer are smaller. And for some reason, they have an incredible sense of smell, like way different than any other deer, and just vision. You could be up 20 feet up a pine tree, and you move a finger and you have a doe at 100 yards and they'll look straight at you. Like, no questions.
I think they're just like a ton more switched on.
Yeah.
Right. And it's because
they're always on edge.
Yeah. Because there's no, like in most states, it's like, okay, you have bow season for 30 days or 45 days. And then you've got a 6-day rifle or an 8-day rifle. And then it's bow season again. And then you've got black powder at the beginning of November for 3 days or whatever.
South Carolina's a little different with that.
A little, just a smidge.
There's some game zones that are different, but the one I hunt, bow season is from September 15th until January 1st.
Yeah.
And rifle season is from October 15th till January 1st.
Yeah.
But there's some, I think around here it opens up August 15th for rifle.
Yeah.
August 15th through January 1st, I think.
So if you go over, I think it's zone 1 or 2, I can't remember, but I used to lease property over in Eastover, which is the other side of Columbia on Bluff Road. And that August 15th. And they literally start on the exact same date. There's no bow season. Yeah. They're literally getting shot at from day one.
Yeah.
So they're super twitchy because they're always getting shot at, like with a rifle.
They duck a lot in South Carolina, and it's just so hard to draw a bow back. My first doe I shot was in 2023 on my birthday in South Carolina. I set up a spot. I was in my saddle about 20 feet up a pine tree, and they came out to the corn pile, and it was in the morning. And
Jack, you hunt over bait?
Yep. That's how we do it in South Carolina.
That's the whole, like, I hear that bait thing, argued all the time, but
really the big bucks don't come to the bait.
No, I was going to say, if you're hunting over bait, you're hunting to shoot does, or you're going to get a young buck, right? The big bucks aren't coming to bait. You know that. Yeah. So you're honing the skill, right? You're trying to get your first bow kill.
So my first bow kill was a doe in 2023 in the morning, and I had to draw my bow. I was in a saddle, and even though I had just hung the set, and it was totally camouflaged in, the sticks were on the back of the tree.
What was the setup like? Like, were you in an area? Was it like ag? Were you in the timber, or like where were you?
It was pines. We don't really have any ag where I hunt. It's just all pines.
So it was just all timber, like all pine.
Yeah. Pines, and then there's some hardwoods.
And how did you know where to set up?
So
you're young, right? So you're trying to figure it out.
Yeah. Like where I was hunting, there was an edge of a hardwood bottom, and then pines. So I had the corn pile on the edge, and the does would come up from the hardwoods and kind of walk that edge.
Gotcha.
And started out the hunt, and in order to shoot that doe, I had to draw my bow down the tree and then come around, because I drew back so many times on does where you just you have your bow and you kind of just pull straight back.
Mm-hmm. They pin you. They pick you off immediately
every time.
Yeah.
So that time I tried something different and drew down the tree and then came around. And when I came around, she was already on me, but it was too late.
You were able to let it fly.
Yeah. She only went 50 yards or whatever. And that was probably one of the.
That's a pretty interesting, thought process around how you drew it. I've never heard anybody say that before. But that way you can stay, because you're saddle hunting, so you're behind the tree, so you can actually stay hidden it right until the time you actually have to put a pin on her.
I think that was probably one of my more proud hunting. That first archery, that was in 2023. So I was 2.5 years, I guess, into bow hunting. And that's really, for the first 3 seasons, all I did was bow hunt, really.
Yeah.
It's I had the multiple encounters with pretty good South Carolina bucks that were just out of range, or just, if there were so many bucks that would have been on my wall right now if I had a rifle with me. Because
is that what made you finally pick up a rifle? You're just I had
rifle hunted all my life, but I just want to get into bow hunting.
You just wanted to be good at bow hunting, so you kind of said, I'm going to bow hunt exclusively for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I would sometimes rifle hunt at the end of the season.
Mm-hmm.
And I killed 2 bucks at just late season with my rifle. I bow hunted all season. I just wanted to.
You just wanted to get some meat in the freezer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So started out with that, and yeah, that was probably one of my proudest, having that doe and like finally doing it. And at that point, I thought I was good.
Yeah, you're Dudley at that point.
Yeah, pretty much. Because earlier that season, I had a nice 8-point come in, and I drew back, squeezed off, and I thought I swacked him. But I hadn't really fully grasped the ducking point.
The whole jumping the string thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I hit him just above the vitals and just below the spine. I found out. We tracked him for like 100 yards, and he came back on camera a little while later, and you could see it was like just in that point where like no man's land, I guess people call it. So that was like a pretty downing, like
right above the lungs, below the spine.
Yeah, that was pretty like
was that a decent buck?
Yeah, it was like a probably 2.5-year-old 8-point. Just a great first bow kill in South Carolina, and a good South Carolina deer. But he came back on camera and saw where I hit him, and I was like, got to do better. Like, they're going to jump that string. I didn't really fully like grasp that, like how it was.
From there, how did you decide? Like, what were you going to change in terms of where you were like putting the pin? Did you just start putting it on the brisket, or what did you start doing?
Just lower.
Yeah.
I just probably more heart bottom.
Gotcha.
And smoked the doe. That built some confidence. And then the next season, last year, I bow hunted all year again. In middle of October, I'm sitting there and I have a buck. I have my rifle and my bow in my saddle with me. Middle of October.
You got them both.
I'm 30 yards from.
You're like, I'm going to take the shot regardless of where they are. It's just a matter of which weapon I'm going to choose.
And I'm 30 yards from a scrape, and I'm sitting there about 9:30. I look over, and there's a nice 8-point. We called him Screw Time because his G3 was kind of like a corkscrew.
Yeah.
He came out like 27, 30 yards, somewhere around there. And I was like, oh, what do I do? Do I just do rifle, just get him on the wall, or do I? And I was like, I'm going to go hero.
You got to pull the bow out, dude. Like, 30 yards?
I was like,
come on.
I'm going to be a hero here. I
That's
got the bow out, drew back. He was broadside, squeezed off. I was like, I just smoked that deer. Like, he was done. But it turned out that I hit him like right height, right forward and back, but I hit him right in the shoulder bone. So it went in like 2 inches and then just went down. So
you're a little far forward.
A little bit forward, yeah.
Because you're trying to put it right behind the crease.
Yeah. So if it would have been probably another ½ inch back or inch back,
you're good.
He would have been post. But we had, I got a picture of him a couple of days later after we didn't really find much blood or anything.
Yeah.
And just his whole shoulder was just folded open.
Eesh.
Like he was not doing well. And one of the other guys at the club shot him with a rifle a couple of days later.
Oh, that's good. So at least somebody put him out of his misery.
Yeah.
That's good. Was he a decent buck after he shot?
He was a nice buck. He was a nice 8-point, probably 3.5, 4 maybe. He was a good one.
But you know what? I just did a podcast that isn't even out yet. It'll be out by the time people hear this. And that's like one of the things I was talking about. It was like I didn't do this in the beginning, which you are doing, which I think is smart. Like that deer on the wall right there was the first deer I ever killed.
Yeah.
And so I was like, that was kind of my baseline. Right. And so I was letting all these 2.5-year-old, deer walk, but I wasn't getting better.
Yeah.
In
the beginning, I was whatever at my club. It's got to be, I think, a 12-inch spread or something. And it's got to be 4 points on one side. And then there's like some height requirement, but I was just, if it was legal,
you were shooting it.
I was shooting it.
That's how you get, that's what Joe, like that was the lesson and the stuff I listened. That's what I did this year was like, you're never going to kill big deer unless you just learn how to kill deer.
Yeah.
Right. If you're always waiting for the big one, but if you don't have the background, the experience, and when the big one comes, you're going to choke.
Yeah.
So that's what I did this year. I think that's great advice. So you were on it ahead of time. You were ahead of the curve.
Yeah. I was just trying to shoot anything with my bow, just to get reps and get better.
Yep. Getting reps, man.
And that one really put me down because it was like such a perfect shot. Not perfect, obviously.
But it felt good coming off.
But it felt good coming off. And I was like, I just got my first bow kill, like first bow buck. And
how long did it take you to figure out that you hadn't killed him? Like
We tracked it for like 100 yards, and there wasn't much of anything.
Yeah.
So that kind of led me to like something may have happened. And then the pictures we got of him a week later was like exactly what we thought. Right.
Yeah.
Right. An inch and a half inch back more, it would have been
right in the heart.
Right in the heart. Done.
Yeah.
I'll show you a picture after. It's like a picture of his whole thing flabbed open.
So that was your second one. Your second attempt at a buck with your bow.
That was the first.
That's season 2, right? We're on season 2. Or is this your second season?
That's my third season bow hunting. First season bow hunting, didn't shoot anything. Didn't have any encounters really.
Second season, you got the doe.
Got the doe, and then hit the buck in no man's land.
Yeah,
and he survived. He was fine. And then the third season was the screw tine 8-point that later met his demise from a rifle.
Yeah.
And then fourth season is this season, I think.
Right now.
It's 2021 to 2025.
Okay.
Was my bow hunting seasons.
Gotcha. So like one of the reasons I wanted to bring you on was because you got your first buck with the bow this season, and he was a nice one.
Yeah, he was a lot nicer than I
was gonna say. He was. We're gonna get into that story in a minute. One thing I wanted you to tell first that you kind of told me offline was like, tell the story about the first deer you actually just killed in general, and like how you cleaned it and all that stuff. Like,
my first deer I ever killed, it was my 8th birthday, and I had never really shot a rifle before, really. But my dad, I was never gun shy.
Yeah.
I'd shoot anything. It didn't really matter. The way my dad explains it is he was like telling it as me. He was like, so I told you put this here, and you were like, so if I put this crosshair on there and I squeeze this, it's that. And I was like, oh, that's that easy. All I do is put that there, squeeze this, take this off safety, and we're good. I was 8, and there's some spot that Bert had somewhere in Colombia, and we sat, and there was me, my dad on one side and Bert on one side in a little ground blind. And I was sitting there, and right before dark, 2 does came out to the pile and squeezed off, and that doe didn't go anywhere, which was it was just like so cool. I have pictures, but I actually, being a young little kid, I forgot my hunting boots. So all the pictures of my first deer, I'm wearing bright green neon high tops that I wanted for my rec league basketball. That's all I had.
Yeah.
So I killed it in those. And there's pictures of me getting bloodied up by Bert and my dad. And that was a cool experience.
But that's not the one that you took back to your house.
No, that was not the one I took back to my house.
Okay.
That was a different one.
So this was your first one. So
this was my first one when I was 8.
Which was cool though. I didn't even hear that story, but you did it with your dad on one side of you and Bert on the other side.
And
so what did they do after you killed it? Like, what was the celebration like?
I think we went to get barbecue somewhere in Colombia. I was 8. I don't really fully remember. I just remember shooting it and like just being on top of the world.
Yeah.
And one thing that I have now found out recently is that apparently Bert put out so much corn in that pile that every deer in the state, apparently he knew that I was coming and wanting to get my first deer. So it's now come out that there was enough corn on the ground there for
an entire herd.
Yeah.
So you're saying that Bert tilted the scales a little bit in your favor?
Yeah, and it worked. We got my first deer, and
and you got excited, and then you became a lifelong hunter.
Yeah. And the season after that, I was 9. My dad took me out to our club, and we were the spot that we wanted to hunt. Back then we were just ground hunters. We didn't have any corn piles or feeders. We just picked a spot on a hillside and sat down. And this one morning, it was right around the rut. My great uncle Denny, he gave me some sheds, some big old Wisconsin sheds for rattling with. And I was 9 or 10 years old, sitting on this hillside, and I was holding the gun all morning because I just wanted to hold something as a little kid.
Yeah.
And right about 10 o'clock, I was like kind of getting ready to head out and do something else. And my dad was like, all right, give me the gun and you can rattle like one more time. And I rattled that one more time, passed him the gun, and I'm sitting there and I rattle, and probably like 5 minutes later, we're sitting against a tree. My dad's looking this way and I'm looking kind of down. There's a big thicket in this bottom.
Yeah.
and I'm looking down. All of a sudden, I just start seeing trees in the thicket, like lay down, like as if like a car was driving through there. And I was like, I think there's one coming. And my dad was like, where? And then all of a sudden, I say, deer. I'm like whispering it. It's how my dad explains it. I was whispering like deer.
Uh-huh.
And all of a sudden I say, it's huge. I said that. My dad was like, where? And I finally got him to look over. And South Carolina 13 point comes out of this thicket. And my dad had the gun at the point, and my dad dropped him right in his tracks. It's actually in the South Carolina State Record book. And there's a picture of me and my dad as a little kid.
How big is it?
It scored 145 gross. I think it came out to 139 was its official score.
And in South Carolina, that's a big deer.
Yeah,
like literally the record deer in South Carolina, I think is like 174. Like that's the biggest deer ever shot in the state.
So my dad's got a plaque from the state.
140 is like a hammer in South Carolina.
The record book.
Yeah.
And that was a really cool hunting experience. Like
that's awesome. And you're the one that spotted it.
Yeah, I spotted it. I rattled it in. So even to this day, everyone at my club that we
You get the credit for it?
Yeah, I don't get the credit, but everyone calls me a rattler.
Rattler.
I was the one that.
That's a good nickname.
Yeah,
that's a good nickname, man.
So that was a pretty cool hunting. Like, but I'll never top that. Like having that young, I was like, "Whoa, this hunting stuff's pretty cool." That thing walks out. You clank these together, and something like that walks out.
Yeah, well, that was the first one I killed. Yeah, same deal. Like I was like, oh, like I 32 yards, heart shot.
Yeah,
he went like 20 yards, laid down and died. I'm like, oh. This isn't that hard.
But my dad was saying, he was like, I don't know what I was thinking. You were holding that gun all morning. And like I had shot a deer. I would have been fine.
He was like, why didn't I let you shoot it, right?
Oh, he didn't. He hasn't said that.
He's probably glad he shot it. He just didn't want to admit it.
But he was like, if you would have shot that would have been like some sort of record for a 9-year-old. So.
Yeah, the fact that you had one in the record books.
And so that was a pretty cool experience. But the deer you were talking about earlier was last season in South Carolina. It was end of December or middle of December, I think. And I was sitting in my saddle with my rifle. I had this pretty good 8-point, I don't know, 3-year-old, legal for the club, good South Carolina buck, come out to like 30 yards with my rifle. I was like, well, you're coming home with me. Smoked him, and then there was no one at the club to take pictures for me. I like to have good pictures.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, I guess I'm bringing it home. Put it in the back of my truck, drove it to Charlotte, and got some pictures in my backyard with it. My dogs were going crazy.
Like, did you hang it up, or what were you doing? Or did you like lay it on the ground, try to stage it and everything?
Yeah, I just put it on the ground. If you look at the picture, it's like nice, purely zoysia grass. Like
you're like, who kills a deer in like that kind of grass, right?
Yeah.
Like, where'd he kill that thing? He didn't. He transported it 2 hours so he could like sit it down in his backyard.
And then I had to skin it and clean it. So I had one of those things you put in your trailer hitch that lifts it up.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I butchered it right on my driveway.
How'd that go over in the middle of downtown Charlotte in Myers Park?
It was late at night, so there wasn't too many people that were seeing it. But
no drive-bys.
Apparently, the bucket I was using is like the gut bucket.
Yeah,
maybe had a leak in it, and like some of the blood was running down the driveway. And like next morning, my mom went out to like walk the dogs.
Mom loved that, I bet.
And my mom went to like walk the dogs or something, and she was like, "This is unacceptable. We have like
unacceptable, Jack."
Our driveway's kind of a slope, so it was just going right down into the gutter on the street.
Did it stay in the driveway?
No, I just rinsed it off. It was fine.
I bet you the dogs were trying to get after it.
Oh, yeah, the dogs were
dogs were after that sucker now. She's probably mad because she couldn't walk him, so they wanted to lick all the blood up.
Yeah.
That's funny. That's funny. Hey guys, big thanks to Osseo Gear for supporting the show. Osseo is built specifically for bow hunters. Every stitch, zipper, and fabric choice is made to perform when it's quiet and the pressure's on. Their camo patterns are inspired by nature's predators, and they're purpose-built to ensure you blend naturally into the specific environment you are hunting. Make sure to use the code DONOTGO20 to get 20% off on your purchases at OsseoGear.com. Osseo is made for bow hunters by bow hunters. So give them a check. They're a big supporter of the podcast, and we appreciate them. Great gear. So you kind of been raised in the outdoors, right?
Yeah. I've been hunting with my dad. So I remember being a kid, just always, whenever he wanted to go hunting, I was with him.
Yeah. So what's something that being raised in the outdoors, what's something that's taught you that like nothing else could have taught you, that maybe people that don't do that will never get a chance to learn, that you've really put that you value a lot?
Probably just always being aware of my surroundings. Like you're much more like in tune with like what's around you, and like just always being like when you're walking around, like just knowing what's around you, and kind of, I think that's been something that I've learned, and really just being able to spot deer anywhere. Like when I'm driving, like every hunter knows when you're a hunter and you're driving, if you drive by a field or you drive by anything, you're constantly scanning. And I'll be driving around and being like, oh, the deer right there, 30 yards in the woods, and people will be like, you're driving, how the hell you see that deer way back in the woods? But I'm just,
you got eyes.
Yeah, I'm just, it's just like a hunter, just being, I guess, woodsmanship, walking around.
Now, did the woodsmanship stuff, did you like, how much of the time in the woods was spent with your dad versus how much were you out there on your own? And from a woodsmanship perspective, how much did you pick up from him? And how much do you think you've kind of learned just through osmosis by being out there a bunch?
Say probably it's like half and half, probably. Like from when I was 8 hunting with my dad, and I think I hunted by myself probably when I was 13. It's probably like 5 years with my dad. We just walk around and find a good place and sit against a tree together. We didn't have stands really back then, or really any. We just found a good spot where we knew deer were. And
you're ground hunting most of the time.
Yeah, ground hunting. And that was probably one of my, like, sitting with like your dad or someone on
That's
the ground.
That's what I was going to ask.
It's just so, I kind of miss it. It's just a lot of fun.
So y'all don't hunt together as much anymore?
Not as much anymore. We'll probably do it like once a year or something.
Just because you're just out there all the time, basically.
I'm out there a lot. He's kind of gotten tired of the work and stuff, so he hasn't hunted too much this season, but I'm pretty much in the woods whenever I can.
Yeah. I think that's the fact that you had that experience with him is so amazing, because like I said, my dad didn't hunt.
Yeah.
So I didn't grow up like doing something with my dad like that. And so people that have that experience, like I've tried to do that with my kids, like have more experiences with them so that they could grow up with those kind of memories. But that's amazing. Like when you said, I miss it, like I can tell just by the look on your face that like really those times together meant a ton to you.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And he would make an experience, which was kind of cool. Is like when we went hunting, we would stop at the gas station on the way there, and he introduced me to Nutty Buddies at that point.
Dude, Nutty Buddies roll.
Yeah. And he'd like let me get a Gatorade and get a snack or something so he made it like an experience.
Yeah.
Which kind of really nurtured it. And then now, and then from that point on, all I did was watch hunting shows or research hunting or try and figure out how to be better. And it's pretty much all I do now is try and learn and get better, and more game planning strategies, where to hunt, how to hunt, different everything.
So as you've gone on and gotten deeper into it, like who else has become an influence on you, and who else have you learned from, or do you continue to learn from now?
Definitely a lot of the Swarens and Bert, like just being able to run questions by him. And if I got a question about, I'll send him like pins or whatever and see what he thinks about something. Or if I have a shot, I'll call him and ask him what he thinks. And just different like ideas he has or things he runs into. We kind of just go back and forth.
Yeah.
But that's a lot of help. Like he knows, so he's been in the woods for a lot longer than I have. And he knows a lot. And then Mr. Wesley, I hunt with him a lot, and he's
just so people like that hear this. Obviously, I mean, Bert Soren's been on the podcast, but he owns Sorenex. So most of the people listening to this are going to know who he is. Talk a little bit about who Mr. Wesley is so people understand that.
Mr. Wesley is one of a kind.
He's a South Carolina legend.
Yeah. He's hunted all of his life. I think he's 74, 75. He's hunted throughout his whole life, and he knows everything about the woods pretty much. So hunting with him is just falling behind him and taking notes of everything he does. And he's got me into turkey hunting, which is a new thing of mine that I've been working on the past 2 years. So I hunted with him probably 10 times last season for turkeys.
Now, when you turkey hunt, are you hunting with a bow, or are you like hunting with a shotgun? Okay.
Shotgun.
Gotcha.
With turkey. A bow with turkey, first turkey is, I don't know that'd be tough. And we're just hunting on public land and around here, and walking around calling and just showing me when to call, when not to call. And it's awesome. And then there's also Jeff. He's strong to hunt. I've been talking with him a lot.
Yeah.
He's been doing like FaceTimes and stuff, teaching me to call.
Yeah, that guy's a turkey like wizard, man.
Yeah. He's
Wasn't he like a championship turkey caller
Yeah.
or something?
Like multiple times.
Yeah.
So he's been a really cool thing. Like, I've gotten to know him at Winter Strong some, and being able to call him and ask him questions, or if I got a turkey that's hung up or something, I'd be like, well, what would you do here? Like, would you wait on this edge or whatever? So he's been very helpful, along with Wesley and really everyone, learning turkey hunting.
What's interesting is, so I haven't turkey hunted, but I've elk hunted the last 2 seasons, and people that I've talked to that do both said there's a huge correlation between elk hunting and turkey hunting, like the calling, them getting hung up, like how do you, like basically it's almost the same thing, like that you're trying to call in an elk versus calling a turkey. They said it's really, really similar.
Yeah, I've heard someone say turkey hunting is just a poor man's elk hunting.
Yeah, I think I heard somebody say that too. It's kind of gotten me to the point where like I love elk hunting, so it's kind of like now I'm like, oh, maybe I want to go turkey hunt.
Yeah,
but
turkey hunting is a whole different experience than deer hunting, but I like it. Like being able to walk around and like talk during the hunt and like game plan. Like we got one gobbling over here. Do we go to this one or do we go to that one? Well, there's a creek in between this one, and just
that's the thing I love about elk hunting. Is that you're moving the whole time and you're like game planning and you're setting up stalks and like it's so different than, okay, I'm going to hang my tree stand and am I in the right place? Yeah. Like, I don't know if you listen to, do you know Jared Scheffler, the Whitetail Adrenaline guy? I
don't think so. No.
So he's got one of the biggest, it's called Whitetail Adrenaline. They don't post their, like he has a YouTube channel, but he like sells his hunts and stuff on DVDs. Like they have seasons. Him and his partner, they only hunt deer from the ground. Like that's their thing. They don't tree stand hunt. They literally ground hunt everything. And they go all over the Midwest. They go to Kansas. They go everywhere. But it's like, if you like ground hunting, like that's something that I
do a lot of ground hunting.
Yeah. You would love those guys. Like he's, I think I had him on in like July, but you should watch his stuff on YouTube. Cause if you like ground hunting, you'll love his stuff. That's all they do.
Yeah.
So it's interesting, but that's what I like about elk. That's what you like. Sounds like you like about turkey is you're moving, right? You're not like, did I set up in the right place? And I hope that I figured everything out so the deer walks by me.
Yeah. It's a whole different thing. I mean, some people don't really enjoy sitting in a tree stand for 12 hours for an all day sit.
It gets old, dude. But, like, I don't love the all day sit thing, but I'm also don't have like the body of a 19-year-old, you can probably hang in your saddle and be like, well, whatever. It doesn't bother me.
The saddle for a whole day that's a bold move. I've done that a couple times.
It's rough on the feet, isn't it?
It's rough on really everything. Like an all-day saddle hunt, you got to be a man to do an all-day saddle hunt.
It definitely is. I've only done it twice, and it freaking, like, the next day I was sore as hell.
Yeah.
Okay, so turkey hunting, like, you've been kind of doing the turkey thing. So let's dive into this past season. Pretty recently, you shot your first buck with your bow.
Yep.
And you did it in Missouri, right?
Yep, in Missouri.
Like the land of the giants, one of the great Midwestern
going to Missouri
hunting
is
states.
My favorite time of the year. Like you just never know what's going to walk by you.
Yeah. So did you go during the rut? Like what time of the year did you go?
Yeah, it was, we went for the 4 days before, or the 3 days before gun season, and then the 3 days of gun season.
Which, so there's a lot of people. So in the state of Missouri, that would be what? Like you were there like almost second week of November and then like right after that, right?
Yep.
So, all right. So that's kind of almost peak of the rut. Like I've been to Missouri the last couple of years and everyone says the rut's like the first week of November.
Yeah.
But
it kind of fully moves around throughout year to year, and it all depends on temperature and.
Yeah. I feel like the last couple of years it's kicked off more like around the 6th or the 7th type of thing.
Yeah.
So what part, you don't have to say where, but like, were you middle of the state, northwest corner? Like what general area?
We were northwest corner.
Okay.
And,
close to Iowa.
Yeah. Pretty close to Iowa.
So why don't you tell her, like, kind of walk everybody, like what's the topography like where you were, like kind of what's not the area itself, but like, what does it look like in terms of where's the ag, where's the timber, all that stuff?
Where the property we hunt, which is, it's an 80 acre, cattle pasture.
Okay.
2 40-acre, fields of
just pasture.
Just pasture.
There's no ag on it.
There's no ag really near where we hunt. There's not
even in the general. There's nothing around it. There's ag.
There's a couple, but like not really.
Is it all pasture and timber then, basically, or what's around there?
It's a lot of cows, a lot of meat cows.
Oh, okay. So it's a farm, big.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's some fields like some bean fields, some corn fields, but not It's
not
not
close
ag,
by.
and they're probably a mile away.
Okay. That's actually, I mean, I've talked to some guys who've actually said, if you don't have it on your property, it's better not to have it right next door. It's actually better to have it a little bit further so that they're traveling back and forth and you're not like worried. Like, why would they leave one piece of ag to go to another one?
Yeah.
So that's past my knowledge level, but I've heard the same thing. Like, it's better to be a little bit further away.
Yeah. So it's a 40 acres and then a little strip of timber, like 20 yards across. There's a little drainage and then another field.
So you've got the drainage ditch and a little strip of timber that borders in between the two fields.
Yep.
Okay.
And there's a tree. There's not many places to saddle hunt on this property. There's just 2 fields. And you really have to pull the deer out of the surrounding timber into the field. Mm-hmm. They will walk across it, but they're mainly just walking the edges looking for does. Like, seeing if there's anything out there.
Yeah. So is it all calling? Like, are you basically?
Yeah. It's a lot of calling and some decoy hunting. And so the first day we got there, we hung a stand on one end of the field, like just a 2-man stand for my dad to sit in. And there's a tree on the back left corner of the property. So
you and your dad were hunting together? Same tree? Like,
no. Just across the field. He was probably 600 yards.
So he's on one side, you're on the other side?
Yeah.
Okay.
Of the back field. That's where we had most of the activity the past couple of years.
Gotcha.
And there's a tree. I call it the poison oak tree because it's got poison oak. Last year, I sat in it.
Did you learn that the hard way?
Yep. Last year, I sat in it for a full day saddle sit in a tree with. Everyone's going to say, like, you should have known, but the vines, they didn't look like poison oak, and they still don't. I don't know what it was. It didn't have like the big hairy and scary people say of poison oak. Mm-hmm. But there were some vines, but it looked dead. So I was like, oh, it's fine.
Yeah.
It'll be all right. And it was not all right in case. And I woke up the next morning, my eyes were sealed shut. I had poison oak over my whole body. I was totally engulfed in poison oak. So this year, the first thing on the agenda was
spray the tree.
I went there and I had 2 pieces of burlap. I didn't have anything else. And I just cut all of the poison oak at the bottom and used the burlap to pull it off the tree.
Okay.
So I cleaned the tree off.
Yeah.
And I still did get poison oak this year, I guess, just from the bark.
Was this the same tree?
Yeah, same tree.
Literally the same tree.
Because there's only like one tree.
You're a brave man,
in the
Jack.
corner of this field.
Like, I'm going back to the tree that literally enveloped my entire body in poison oak.
This year I cut it all off and was more careful and was more aware.
Uh-huh.
But the tree is leaning this way. So it's really not great for saddle hunting. And you don't want to sit on this side. So you have your platform.
Yeah.
Leaning back, it's either you're standing straight or you're leaning back and you're constantly getting told one way or the other because what the tree is.
That's not ideal.
Not ideal.
Because I like a tree that's fairly straight for saddle hunting because sometimes I like to turn around and just prop myself up against the tree and stand up with my back against it.
This tree also has no cover. It's just a tree. So the way I sit in it is I kind of put the tree's kind of in between me. I'm kind of like bear hugging the tree.
Yeah.
Like for all day so I can not be silhouetted.
Right.
And when a deer comes, I'll kind of push away and like draw back, but I'm still around the tree. I'm not even really using my saddle. I'm just sitting into the tree. And probably mid-morning of the first hunt, the first day we were there, mid-morning, I have I'm kind of sitting and there's like a lane this way that's not our property. And like the fence line's like this and the tree is here.
Mm-hmm.
So you got 2 lanes that you can see down that aren't the property, but you can kind of, if something crosses there, you can kind of call them in. And mid-morning, I see something giant cross probably 100 yards behind me.
This is day 2 or day 1?
Day 1.
Okay.
And I catch it coming across and I text in the group chat of the people we're hunting with. And I just had a mega cross behind me. I rattle and whatever, and nothing comes about it. So I sit the rest of the day, and I have a pretty good 8-point come through right on the lane. And the same thing happened last year. They walked the fence line, and I've kind of struggled with when to draw on when they walk the fence line.
Yeah,
because I don't want to draw too early and have to hold it for like an hour and a half if they get caught up or something. So last year I had one. I drew back on him, but he caught me drawing back because I waited too long. And this time,
how far? If they're walking the fence line, once they get to the point where they would be in shooting range, like how close are you at that point? Because your tree's like right on in the fence line, right? So it's a
little bit back. So
okay,
once they're able to be shot, they're at like 20.
Okay.
There's a little opening where they come through, and it's like 20. So
okay. So that's not, it's actually a pretty decent shot angle then.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this year I had another one do the same thing midday, and I tried to draw back, but he saw me this time.
Mm-hmm.
So he kind of went off, and I was like, oh, I guess it's day one, but it's kind of frustrating that I have not yet been able to figure out when to draw back on the fence line.
Yeah.
So maybe next year I'll be able to figure out how to do it. But so I saw some more does and stuff cross the lane throughout the day with my binoculars and stuff, just watching deer cross back and forth in that bottom, which we've always been trying to get that property, but people they hunted, I guess.
Is the bottom on the other side of the field, or is it kind of like on a 90-degree angle from the fence line? Like on that side?
Kind of just right down the fence line.
Okay, so go down the fence line, and then there's a bottom.
Like a field, and then the bottom's like this. And I'm sitting here looking that way.
Okay.
And the deer kind of walk that.
Yep.
So I'm sitting there and just watching bucks and stuff cross there, all like rattling at them, and some of them listen, some of them don't. But just basically, you're watching big deer cross that little opening from bottom to bottom all day, but they're on your property, so you can't really do anything but try and call to them.
Are you did you ever stop rattling and try to grunt at them to see if they respond differently to that?
Where they cross is about 250 yards away.
So you don't feel like you can get the grunt out there.
I kind of tried everything, and some of them would look, and some of them would whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But they just they had their does, and they kept on moving. And we'll actually kind of go back earlier in the day. I looked down the lane, and there's 6 coyotes coming down the lane. A pack. I'd never seen a pack of coyotes before. So
it's crazy when they're in person, isn't it? Yeah. You're like, oh wow, that's cool.
I've seen a lot of coyotes in South Carolina and stuff, and in Missouri,
but they're all by themselves.
Like 1 or 2.
Yeah,
maybe.
Me too.
But a pack of 6 or 7 came through, and they go into this block of timber, and I'm like, that's not very good. Turned out to be pretty good because they pushed every single deer out of that. Like things were just filtering out, and I was like watching them go across. But that big one never
showed up.
Across. So it got down to like the last probably 5 o'clock. It got dark. It stopped hunting at probably 5:30. I think was when it was back then. And I look over. I hear some walking kind of in the bottom a little bit closer, but on this hillside, I'm like, something's walking over there. So I grunt twice, and I finally catch. Actually, this is about 4 o'clock, 4:30. It was a little earlier. This is the first time I saw him. I hear some walking, whatever, and I catch a glimpse of a doe through an opening. I get my binoculars up, and I just see just horns behind her coming through this opening at probably 80 yards.
You're like,
and I grunt twice.
It's a freaking hammer.
Yeah. I texted the group chat. I got a mega out here, and never could get him to come out. So for probably like 30 minutes, I was sitting there. I could hear them walking around kind of on that hillside. They weren't necessarily running, but I could just hear walking, and I was like, they're still over there. And probably
are they at this point? Are they chasing? Basically, are they do you think were any of the does there in estrus, or were they all were they just pushing does, waiting for someone to come in?
He was locked onto a doe.
Oh, he was okay.
He was totally locked.
So he was brainless. He was basically like, where the doe goes, I go.
Yep. Yeah. And so I'm sitting there for probably 30 minutes. I have just seen a glimpse. I just saw a glimpse of him go through. So I knew there was a nice one in there, meandering around, just waiting, and it kind of was starting to get dark about 5 o'clock. Sun went down at 5, I think, and you can shoot for 20 minutes after or 30 minutes after or something.
Yeah, because it's Central Time, and you just had the time change.
Yeah.
So I remember like last light is at like 4 for sunset's like 4:50, and last light's at like 5:25 or some ridiculous thing.
Yeah, that's exactly. So probably 25 minutes before shooting light was over, a doe pops out at 50 or 45 or something. And I'm like, that's got to be the one that he's trailing. So she comes out and kind of comes to like 30 and is facing me.
Oh, you're feeling good right now, right?
Well,
or hopeful
I'm
at
not
least.
Feeling great because she sees me. Because
she busted you.
She didn't bust me, but she was looking at my tree. I was like behind the tree, tucked in, like kind of looking.
Like she's like, what's hanging on that tree?
And she knew something was up, but she couldn't figure it out.
So were you hanging onto the tree at this time? Like, were you kind of like snugged up against the tree?
I was like totally hugged up, like just like a knot in the tree.
Gotcha.
And
that's probably what saved you, right? Because you weren't like hanging out anywhere.
Yeah.
You didn't
if I was hanging out, she would have been screwed.
Yeah.
So she came to like 30, facing straight at me for like 5 minutes, just looking. I didn't hear any movement behind her, and I was like, what is going on here? And all of a sudden, the big one popped out at the 45.
Yeah.
popped out 45 yards, and he's trailing her. And this doe walks to the fence line, right where I'm able to shoot, because they're off the property at that point. They're coming towards me.
Gotcha.
And so she came to the fence line.
Yeah.
And so she came to the fence line, I can't move.
Yeah. And you still haven't seen Big Boy yet, though, right?
No, he was at 45.
Oh, so you saw him at this point. You're seeing him.
I had my binoculars in my hand, so I had like some wall, and then she was moving. So he was at 50. She was moving up, and while they weren't looking and whatever, I put my binoculars down and get my bow, and I'm just sitting in the tree like this. I'm totally hugging, but I'm like behind the tree, just holding like that. I'm like, this is about to go down, but it's getting dark.
Are you shaking?
Yeah, I'm really shaking.
Like, so that's what. So I haven't asked this question yet, but like, when you get a shot, like, do you get buck fever, or do you just like you get nervous, but you can control it pretty easily?
When
I say buck fever, it doesn't mean you miss. It just means like,
definitely
monstrous adrenaline spike.
Every time.
Yeah.
Those bucks, doesn't matter to me. Like, I'll be shaking.
You just get an adrenaline dump.
I'll be shaking when he's coming, but then once I like am committing to drawing back, everything just like goes blank. Everything just like totally relaxes.
Blackout mode.
Yeah. So the doe comes to the 20 yards in the fence line.
And he's at 45.
And she's looking at me. Yeah, he's at like 45. She's looking at me hard at 20 yards in the fence line. And you can't move your head at all. And all of a sudden, another doe comes into the picture. So there's the fence line. There's a gate. And on one side of the gate is one doe, and on one side of the gate is another doe.
Staring at each other, basically?
Both looking at me.
Both looking at you.
Because they know there's something wrong with the string.
Doe, you.
And he's at 45.
Okay.
And he moves up to 30, looking straight at me.
Okay. So you don't really have a shot.
Well, he's looking at me, but he's really just looking at the does, kind of.
Yeah.
So I got two does eyeing me. He's in between them at 30, frontal shot.
Yeah. And
I was like, nah, I can't do it.
Not comfortable with that yet.
Also, I couldn't move. The does were staring at me.
Yeah.
At one point, both the does kind of were like, all right, I think we're good. And they put their head down for a second, and they do that thing, where they put their head down and they look right back up.
Uh-huh.
So they were just screwing around for like, I think from the time I saw him to the time I shot him was like 25 minutes. And it was coming down to the last seconds of light. And he moved up to like probably 25. And he was still frontal. And they were still looking at me. And I was like, I don't know what to do here. Like, for like 20 minutes, I've been like this.
You're like, how am I going to pull? How am I actually going to pull back and get a shot?
Yeah. So probably 5 minutes before light ends.
Mm-hmm.
The doe that came in from the right just kind of just flickers her tail and starts easing off. And the doe on the right puts her head down for a second. And I'm like, I still can't draw because he's frontal. I'm not going to take a frontal shot. I don't know enough about it or whatever. And he comes, he starts walking. And he comes right in behind the doe, 20 yards.
Get a sniff.
And he snort wheezes and grunts twice. That was my first time. I've heard grunts, but that was my first time hearing a snort wheeze in person. And that was...
Why do you think he was snort wheezing? Like there wasn't a buck around, right?
Well, I didn't know that, but there was.
There was another buck.
There was. Okay. There were, after I shot, well, I get that to the second.
Okay.
But so he comes up and he's finally, this deer, the doe is still looking at me again, but he's 20, 25 yards broadside, ready to roll. And this doe is just still looking at me, but he's just focused on her.
So you got a good shot on him. You're worried about the doe right now.
I'm worried about drawing with the doe.
Yeah, about the doe busting you. Yeah.
So finally, she puts her head down, and I just draw back real quick. And she puts her head up. She didn't see me move.
Yeah.
But she saw that guy wasn't there a minute ago.
Right.
He was...
Something changed.
That silhouette wasn't there.
Yeah.
And it got really dark. I couldn't really see much. I could see his outline, and I knew which way he was facing.
Did you have a light on your pins?
That's another thing. I've never had a light on my pins ever.
Uh-huh.
And there's been so many times where I'm like, I can't see my pins. I can't shoot. But for some reason, before this trip, I was like...
You put a light on your pins.
I was like, I'm going to order a light for my pins. I've never had one.
Yeah.
I might hate it. I might like it.
Game changer, right?
If I didn't have that...
You wouldn't have been able to see.
I wouldn't have been able to shoot that deer. And so I see an outline. I move the pins to the outline where I think is a good shot. And I just squeeze off. And I'm like... He takes off just like nothing. And I'm like, oh... There's no way I just messed this up.
You thought you missed?
And I snort wheezed at him. as soon as I shot, I snort wheezed to slow him down, which is a trick that I learned. And he went probably 30 yards, and I snort wheezed at him. It was so dark I couldn't see like what was happening or if there's any blood coming out.
Right.
He stopped at 30 yards with the snort wheeze and looked around, and I was like, "Whoa, do I get another arrow or like what do I do here?" And for like, he was only stopped for like a second, where I was like, "Oh, I just missed. He's standing just fine."
Yeah.
His back end starts getting a little tippy.
Oh, you're like, oh, and then here we go.
And then I just started shaking like a leaf. When his back end got a little tippy, I was like, "Oh, this is good."
Did he lay down right there?
Nope. He did a backflip. He went up on his back legs and then fell over backwards and never heard a peep out of him again.
No.
Yep.
He threw his front legs up in the air and did a backflip.
Yep. Right in front of me. And
dude, that's the coolest thing ever, especially for a first like big for your buck, first bow buck.
Yeah. I texted.
That's crazy.
I texted Bert, texted my dad, texted everyone. And I was like, I got a mega down. Like, and I see it. Like
he's laying down right in front of me.
There's been so many like of all the hunts I've been on where like you shoot and you don't know what happened. It could have been a good shot, could have been a bad shot, but you don't know.
Yeah.
But that was like
the fact that you got to see the whole
off
thing
my
happen.
shoulders. Like I know he's down right there.
Yep.
Hasn't made a move, made a peep. And right after that, another 8-point comes into the lane. It's getting really dark now. I can kind of barely see him. But I had my little handheld Pulsar thermal. So he was standing there just sniffing around, looking around, and he was like whatever, standing in his lane. And then I got another 8-point that comes up from behind the buck, and he messes around with my buck for a little bit. I can't see because my buck's over a hill, kind of.
Yeah. So
I couldn't see him in the thermal, but I could see this one walk up to him.
Yeah. And
kind of mess with him for a second and see what was going on, and then just take his doe and go off.
And you know, like, okay, he's smoked.
Yeah. So then that little buck took off with his doe and went away. And then there's still an 8-point, a pretty decent one at like 60. And I got 2 does. The doe that moved off from the right went out in the field next to me. I didn't know. I looked over and I'm like, oh, there's a doe right here, 20 yards. So then I just texted my dad, and he went and got the truck and pulled into the field to like scare everything away with the truck and not me move anywhere.
Right.
So I sat in the tree until probably 20 minutes after light when my dad pulled in and kicked all the deer out.
Yeah.
And then just climbed down. And
so you got to walk up on the deer with your dad?
Yep. I got to.
Did Bert make it back in time or not? Or
no,
was he someone else?
He was still hunting on his place over.
But that's awesome. You and your dad got to walk up on it together.
Yep. So we went to we found the arrow. I was like, there's no way we're gonna. Like, it was kind of thick, brushy.
Do you shoot lighted nocks?
No.
Oh, and you still found it?
Yep.
Wow. Okay.
I'm too cheap for lighted nocks.
Yeah.
I thought about getting them, but then I was like,
it's like that's $10 on. It's 10 more bucks on my arrow right there. So that's why every time if I lose an arrow, I'm like, oh, the arrow cost me like $35. By the time I do the lighted nocks and the weighted tip and all the other crap, like, ugh.
So found the arrow, and then the blood trail was like.
But you knew where the deer was.
Yeah, I knew where it was, but I wanted.
You kind of wanted to do the thing.
I wanted to do the thing.
Yeah.
So we went and looked for the arrow and followed the blood trail, and it was just straight double lung.
Like, what are you shooting? Like, what broadheads are you shooting?
I shot that one with the Evolution Outdoors hide, I think is what it is.
Is that a mechanical or is it the hybrid?
Mechanical.
Okay. Yeah.
It opens up to like a huge.
Is it a 2-inch
opening? Yeah.
Okay.
2-inch.
I've heard that's a good head. I've never shot it, but I've heard it's a good one.
The number on him cleared out his lungs, and there's just lung blood all over the place. We found him, and I drug him out, got some pictures with him, and then brought him back to camp, and that was fun. Camp celebration. Yeah,
everybody's like, pound their chest. Yeah. Like, so how big did it end up being? Did y'all tape it out right there, or what?
We kind of
use an 8-point or a 10-point?
9-point.
A 9-point.
He had a split brow, which made him a 9-point.
I gotcha.
And we just kind of put a tape on him, like just for the fun of it. He was 142, with just sitting on the table with a tape measure. So
it's a nice deer, man.
Probably some deductions and stuff, but that was just what he taped out to.
Especially for your first. I mean, that's a nice deer at all.
Yeah.
But for your first bow kill, like that's crazy.
22 inches wide.
Oh, that's wow. He's got good width.
Yeah, he got good mass, and he was 260 pounds.
Whew.
259, I think.
That'll be some good eating.
Yeah.
How old did you think he was? Like, just estimate. Was he old or not? Or was he like a 3.5-year-old?
I think it was probably 4
Okay.
4.5.
Gotcha.
But what's actually cool is I have, so one of the guys that we know in the area, he's like a farmer.
Mm-hmm.
He had pictures of this deer over a mile away at his parents' house in a bean field. So I have trail camera pictures of this deer in velvet in the summer.
In the summer.
And it was like, the velvet pictures are just crazy. He's just so big.
Just a monster.
And another funny thing is I ended up killing a nice 8-point with my rifle a couple of days later in rifle season.
Same place?
Same place, but on the front field.
Yeah.
I gave my dad the back field. I wanted him to like get something. I'm sitting in not a chump spot, but we call it the wind tunnel stand. It's up on a hill and it's super windy there. And there's not much reason for a deer to be there. And I'm sitting there. I got to the stand at 6 a.m., I think, like about an hour before light.
Mm-hmm.
And the only thing I saw all day, sat in the stand for 12 hours. I had a beaver come across the field at first light to go to like a neighbor's pond or something.
Yeah.
And I didn't see a single deer or anything for 12 hours.
Yeah.
5 minutes before shooting light ended, the giant 8-point, he taped out to, I think it was 143 or 144.
Oh, so he was bigger than the other one, huh?
Yeah. I didn't think he was going to be bigger than the other one, but he was. He popped out, waited for him to get on he was walking the edge of the field looking for does, smoked him. And I just texted everyone like,
I got another one.
I got another one. Pulling to camp and everyone's just giving me a hard time about it. And turns out the same guy who had pictures, the trail cam pictures of the bow buck that I killed, those were his 2 targets. And I killed him
killed them both.
I killed him a mile away, same guy, same place. So I have trail cam pictures of both the deer eating beans in velvet in the summer. So that's pretty cool.
So is the reason they were over where you were, is there like a big doe bedding area over there? Okay.
Yeah, there's a cedar thicket back in there.
And that's where all the does are bedded.
And those bucks just circle.
So the bucks are just sniffing does everywhere.
Yep.
Yeah. Listen, when you're hunting that time of the year, food don't matter. They're going to eat at some point, but it matters where the does are.
Yep. So another funny story. This is actually, I've deemed it, that deer was bow kill 1B.
1B?
1B. Now you might ask, what does that mean? In 2 weeks before I went to Missouri, my great uncle has a cabin in 20 acres in Wisconsin.
Uh-huh.
And I wanted to go bow hunt with him. So I got some money together and I bought a plane ticket for myself and flew out to Wisconsin and went and hung out with him in his cabin I went there for 6 days.
Yeah.
And on one of the last days I was there, I drew back on an 8-point and smoked him. And I was like, this is
your first bow kill.
This is my first bow kill.
Yeah.
I was like so excited. But hunting on 20 acres, there's property lines. And he went across the property line. We let him, I thought I smoked him. And we still let him sit for 3 hours.
Yeah.
And how it is his 20 acres is on top of a ridge.
Mm-hmm.
And it drops off on all sides.
Yeah.
And he's got some neighbors around. So there's a guy down below. He has an 80-acre piece. His name is Matt. And then there's a Larry, and another Larry. There's 5 Larrys around him.
Okay.
And we called all the 5 Larrys, and we're like, my great nephew shot his first bow kill, and
can't find the deer. Is he on your property?
Well, we tracked him before we even called. We knew he was going to cross property lines. Like if he went more than 60 yards, he crossed property lines.
Yeah.
And called them, and they were all like, "Oh yeah, definitely. Like I'm not there right now, but my tractor's in my barn. If you need to get him out, like just call me." All great guys. And this guy Matt, we didn't call him because we knew that there was going to be issues, and there has been in the past with my uncle. We went down. The deer was on Larry's property for a little bit because where they all come together.
Yeah.
So he went on Larry's for a little bit, and then started curving towards Matt. And my great uncle was like, "This is not good."
Mm-hmm.
So we tracked him for 230 yards before he got to Matt's property.
Yeah.
And the blood was pretty good. Not great blood, but like easy enough to follow.
Mm-hmm.
And the deer didn't jump over any logs. If he came to something that would take effort, he went around it. Like if he came to a log, he'd walk down the log and around it.
Yeah.
So I knew he was hurting. I knew it was a good shot.
Yeah.
And called Matt, and Matt said, "Do not proceed." So
he is now my deer if he's on my property. Is that what Matt would literally just take it, or
Matt,
he's like, I'll find it and then call you?
He didn't.
He just said, "Don't proceed." That's all he said.
And then never responded to any of our other texts. Like, could we look at night?
Ghosted you?
Could we look at night, or like, could we do ever? And we think he was maybe hunting or something that day.
Yeah.
But Matt is the kind of guy that thinks you shouldn't shoot a deer unless it's like a 300-inch 16-year-old deer.
Okay.
So
there's judgment involved with Matt.
Which is like it was probably a 2.5-year-old 8-point.
Yeah.
Nothing big, like a little bigger than a basket rack, just a great first bow kill archery buck. And I was super pumped, and then turned into not super pumped when we weren't able to go get it. And I still had 2 more days there. We were hoping that he was maybe going to respond or anything, but he never got back to us at all. And we just had to leave. And I came home just bummed about not being able to retrieve my deer, because I knew it was a dead deer. Like, looking on the trail, it was going to die at some point. Yeah. And so then I waited like 2 weeks, and then he gets a text from Matt, and he's like, sorry about your nephew's deer or whatever. Like, I'll take a look or something. Just
2 weeks later.
Yeah. Or maybe it was a couple of days later. I can't remember, but it was not very selling that he was actually going to look. It was just more of like a
cursory kind of response.
And never heard anything else from him again. And the night while I'm cleaning this, my Missouri deer, my uncle texts me, and he's like, I sent a picture of this one. I'm like, I finally got my first archery bow kill. And my great uncle texts me, that's not your first bow kill, but that's an awesome deer. So he said, call me later. And I was like, I hope this is so turns out he went back to his cabin. A couple weeks later, and Matt texted him, your grandson's deer is on your front porch. So Matt found it. I guess he stumbled upon it and cut the head off and gave it to him. So I don't have the rack yet, but I have a picture of it. And my uncle's going to come down and fish with me in April, and he's going to bring it with him. So it's technically.
So which one are we counting?
I'm counting 1B is
1B. Well, we're counting the hammer.
That's the one. Yeah. That's the first archery kill. Because I wasn't able to retrieve the other one and didn't get anything off of it. So technically it was a bow kill, and I would have found it that day if Matt would have let me go look for it. But
that's an awesome freaking story, dude. Well, listen, I've had you for like an hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So I don't want to run it too long, but right. I really appreciate you driving down from Charlotte. This was awesome. Like, I love being fairly new myself. Like, you're more experienced than I am just because you get out there a lot more than I do. But I love these stories of like first time stuff and, just kind of all the learning that comes along with it. But I love the fact that you do so much of this stuff with your dad.
Yeah.
Like, that's super cool.
Yeah, it's definitely special.
Yeah, it's a really neat deal. So you're tied in with a really, with Bert and your dad, like you've got, and Mr. Wesley, like such an amazing group of mentors. Obviously you're going to do a lot of really cool stuff in your life. So I appreciate you just taking a few minutes to come down here, brother.
Thank you.
Well, if people want to like follow you, kind of pay attention to what you do on social, like what's the best place to you do Instagram or any of that stuff?
Probably Instagram.
What's your Instagram handle?
I think it's just Jack_Schelble.
Okay. And Schelble is spelled SCHELBLE, right? Yep. All right. So follow him on Instagram. If you like this show, please give us a follow, give us a like, share it with somebody else. Some really cool stories from Jack. Thanks for being here, brother.
Thank you.